Okay, brothers and sisters, welcome to another live stream of Learn the Bible with me. So today we are talking about witchcraft. Now, normally I would just talk about spiritual warfare and stuff like that, but pretty much witchcraft is a part of spiritual warfare. Now, yeah, yeah, I'm pretty much going through it right now. People that practicing witchcraft trying to do it on me. So pretty much, let's go to the Bible about it. So we have a few scriptures about it. Actually, we have several about it. Let's go through each one of them. We're not going to go through all of them, but we're going to go through most of them. So this is found in Nahum, the third chapter, Nahum 3, the fourth verse. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts. Ugh. So this is kind of where we get porn and pornography, whoredoms. That's basically pornography. And witchcraft is involved with it. So it keeps you bound. It keeps you bound in this practice. So basically, when you get in that industry, which I know nothing about, but my indication from what this says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. So there are just some people in that industry that people like. But this is normally a person that has given themselves over to witchcraft and contracts and things like that in this industry. The mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms. This is seen around the world, and they're pretty proud of it. And families through her witchcrafts. In other words, like I said, it affects the multitude of people. I've said it myself that I was into pornography, and it's a direct result from witchcraft. Galatians 5:20, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies. All are forms of witchcraft, are direct results from witchcraft. So if you find yourself practicing idolatry, if you find yourself practicing witchcraft itself, if you find yourself practicing hatred, if you find yourself practicing variance, which is mixed realities, you find yourself in emulation, which is copying, wrath, strife. Strife is basically trying to take somebody down with you. Sedition, which is basically manipulation of sexual immorality, and heresies. Heresies is basically, how can I put this? You're basically a liar. It's basically you say one thing, but you do something else, especially when you claim to be a Christian and you do something else. Now, I'm going to tell you this now. Christianity, it does not make you perfect. It does not make you a perfect person. But that's where grace and mercy came in to save you. Doesn't mean everything is going to be always, always up. Okay. Micah 5, the 12th verse. And I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, that thou shalt have no more soothsayers. So, God is letting them know, I will cut this off. Now, if you go to soothsayers to try to gain information, which is basically what it's about, using spiritual manipulation, spiritual bodies that's able to read a person's mind, that's able to see them, keep it up, keep making my point. God will cut this off because it's basically letting you know, I'm the one you go for source and information. You don't go to the devil for information. Now, it's not that he's wrong about it, but it's just the way that you're going about it. You are going to a created being for information rather than the creator of life, the one that created the devil. In other words, the devil wouldn't have his power if God didn't give it to him. But this is the same for witchcraft. If God didn't give Satan his power, the people that's doing witchcraft wouldn't have their power either. 1 Samuel 15:23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he had also rejected thee from being king. So here's the thing about it. We might say, oh man, I would never do witchcraft. I would never go that far against God. Well, if you've rebelled, it's the same in God's eyes as witchcraft. It's not saying that you did witchcraft, but it's just as a bad a sin as witchcraft, because he calls witchcraft an abomination. So basically, rebellion is just as bad as an abomination of witchcraft. Stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. You are a pretty stubborn individual practicing witchcraft because you have to stick in your own way. You can't listen to anybody else's opinion. You have to be stubborn. And stubborn is as iniquity and idolatry. See, the thing is, when you're doing witchcraft, you're practicing idolatry, but you're also stubborn. So the two goes hand in hand. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. So this is about Samuel. He got rejected. He was supposed to be next in line to be king. But because of his stubbornness, because of his rebellion, and because he rejected the word of God, he was no longer in line to be king. The same could be said for us, because we are to be kings and queens in this earth when the Lord returns for his 1,000-year reigns on earth. But if you practice this, you lose your place. Second Kings 9:22. And when it came to pass, when Joram saw Jehu, that he said, It is peace, Jehu. And he answered, What peace? so long as the whoredoms of thy mother Jezebel and her witchcrafts are so many. This is the thing about witchcraft. It's because it's based off of Christianity. They believe what they're doing is right. They believe that what they're doing is doing God a favor. So they have peace about it. And he basically told them, what are you talking about? Your mother was a witch. Your mother did witchcraft. There is no peace here. And who is his mother? Jezebel. She believed everything she did was good in God's eyesight. She thought she was doing God a favor by taking his role, taking his place. It's like, God, look, I got this. I'm going to take care of this person for you. You don't have to worry about it. I got it. I'm gonna make sure they straighten up. God hates that because he knows better than we do. When we act like we know better, he hates that. And you might say, wait a minute, God is not of hate. No, there are things that he does hate. Witchcraft is one of them. 2 Chronicles 33:6. And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom. Also he observed times and used enchantment and used witchcraft and dealt with a familiar spirit, and with wizards he wrought much evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. You see how bad this is? You are purposely trying to provoke God. Do you hear what I'm saying? You're trying to provoke God. You're trying to provoke God to anger. That's how bad it is. That's their attitude. I'm so big and bad that I'm going to poke my finger in your face and ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm going to practice all this just because you said not to do it. You know what? I feel sorry for them. And I'm glad Jesus died on the cross because, look, as you can see, there were certain people that God favored back then, that he allowed them to live because he knew their potential, that they were trying to follow him. But there were just some people that just outright did not care. And those people died instantly. You purposely try to provoke God to anger. I promise you. Jesus will still speak on your behalf because he shed his blood for you. But the thing is, man, it only goes so far. It does not last forever. He'll take his finger off, and that'll be the end. It's time to straighten up and fly right, those that are practicing witchcraft. Stop what you're doing. God is not happy about it. I know you don't care. I know you say you don't care. But you need to understand something. You're getting everything you want on this earth. Silver and gold, attention, all these different things of the world. In other words, the devil will promise you everything that you want, but there's a price to be paid, and that's death. Now, everybody has to die, but that's not what I mean. I'm talking about the second death. The second death is when Satan and his angels and everybody that followed his idolatry, in other words, worshiped his image, shall partake in the second death. It's time for a change. Because look, I know by experience what goes on. And I'm not saying no that I've been practicing it. No. People have been practicing it on me. First Samuel 28:9. And the woman said unto him, Behold, thou knowest that what Saul had done, how he had cut off those that have familiar spirits, and the wizards out of the land. Wherefore then layest thou a snare for my life, to cause me to die? So this was a witch. Now, here's the thing about that. Saul would purposely go after witches and warlocks and cut them off and kill them. But then in the end, he ended up going to witchcraft because God cut off his favor from him. But right here, he was still on God's side. So, brothers and sisters, be very, very careful. Because when you go after witches and warlocks, you must know the Lord. You must know God. And look, I wasn't looking for it. It just came to me. I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for God. I'm definitely not afraid of it. I'm going to tell you that now. Because in the spirit, that's where God works and operates. Exodus. Let's see. Exodus 22:18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. In other words, they will be cut off. You continue to do witchcraft, you will be cut off. You're shortening your life by practicing witchcraft. These are biblical principles that it's telling us that if you do it, you're shortening your life. First Samuel 28:3. Now Samuel was dead, and all Israel had lamented him, and buried him in Ramah, even his own city. And Saul had put away those that had familiar spirits, and the wizards out of the land. So before Samuel died, he drove out all the witches and warlocks and familiars that had familiar spirits with them before he died. This is what God tells us to do. Get them out of the land. Chase them away. They are not to be near you, child of God. Drive them out. Exactly what I'm talking about. I'm giving you real examples of what witchcraft is about, and real examples of what's been happening to me. All right, brothers and sisters, like I said, there's several more. Shut up. Shut up. All right, brothers and sisters, there are several more, but I'm not going to go into all of them. You can read them for yourself. Just be careful. All you witches and warlocks. That's a warning to you. God is warning you. Stop what you're doing, or you won't live to tell the tale. See all that little twitching stuff? That's witchcraft. Like I said, I'm telling you real examples.